Here are some common misunderstandings that people have with ex-addicts. I'll say, and I really want to pick a different word, ex-addicts. However, to identify what I'm speaking on, I'll say ex-addicts. One is that one recovering addict, one ex-addict is not the same as the next one. Everybody doesn't need AA. Everybody doesn't need therapy. Everybody doesn't need medication. Recovery isn't one size fits all. Everyone has a different story, different rock bottom, different healing process, different reasons for staying sober. My reasons for staying sober, I'm sure, are different from the next person's reasons for staying sober. Here's another one. I am not in the business of trying to get the world sober. We know sobriety is a personal decision. So the recovery is about our life, not policing someone else's or how many cups of wine or drinks they have. I'm not cup watching. It's safe to say that I don't care because what I do is for me and what I don't do is for me, not for you. Here's another one. Not every ex-addict gets offended by alcohol or by whatever drug they used to be addicted to. Meaning, there are some people who do not want you to bring whatever drug they were on, weed, marijuana, hard drugs, or alcohol around them because it offends them. It tempts them. I'm not that person. I'm around alcohol often. I still like to go shoot pool at pool halls, which I know there's alcohol at. So not every ex-addict gets offended by the sight of whatever they were addicted to. That's another misunderstanding. I don't care if you drink. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. Here's another one. Sobriety does not make me better than you. Me being sober does not make me better because you drink. Or let's say even because you are addicted to it or because you're a drunk. It doesn't make me better than you. I don't believe that I'm necessarily better than anybody. I believe that my journey is my journey. I believe that what I'm doing and what I don't do is for me. It's for me alone. All my sobriety journey is doing is keeping me accountable to myself, not anyone else. So I am not better than the next person because they choose to drink or do whatever else they want to do. That's your life. And here's another one too. And I didn't know this. Just because I don't drink or I don't do drugs, it does not mean that I cannot have fun. And I had to realize that. I think I realized that probably like the first week of me being sober. I'm like, hold up, I can still kick it. I can still have fun. Hold up. I'm still me. Oh man, listen. You know what I'm saying? So me being sober does not take away my ability to have fun and socialize. Why? Because recovery didn't erase my personality. I'm still me. I just don't have alcohol in the midst of it. Here's another one. Not every ex-addict wants to tell their story. Some people heal in private, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with people who don't want to tell about, who don't want to say anything about it. And there's nothing wrong with people who want to tell their story. I want to tell mine because I want to help and inspire those who are looking to get sober. I want to tell mine because I know that I have a way with words. I know how I'm good with people. And I have an idea and I have a platform. And I believe this is something that I wanted to do. I believe that in order to be great, you must have some level of service to others or to the world. So that's what I believe. But it doesn't make me better than the next because this person doesn't want to tell their sobriety journey. This is just the path that I choose to be on. Here's another one. Recovery is not about perfection. It's about progress. Here's one more. You do not need to walk on eggshells around me. I'm a regular person, not a fragile project in recovery, bro. You do not have to walk on eggshells around me. Oh, like dating this girl one time. Oh, well, you don't drink. I don't want to drink. I'm like, listen. If you want to drink, that's up to you. I'm not going to watch your cup. I don't care if you drink. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that if I don't drink, you can't drink. You do not have to walk on eggshells around the, oh, don't bring the bottle. If I go somewhere, I'm for certain, especially if I'm going to a party or a cookout or a pool or this or that on a date, I understand that there's alcohol around. If I didn't want to be around alcohol, then I would stay in the house, in my room. So I understand what it is when I step outside my walls. So again, I am not a fragile recovering project. Another one, being sober does not mean every problem disappeared. Man, did I think that? I thought that when I stopped drinking, yo, all of my problems was gonna go away. I'd be fine. I wouldn't have, oh my goodness, certain issues and traumas. I thought they were all going to just disappear once the bottle disappeared. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening. Not only did my problems not disappear, they actually became more visible to me. They started walking to the forefront of my brain. They were just right there in my face now. And I couldn't drown them out with alcohol. I couldn't numb it with alcohol anymore. So being sober does not mean every problem that I had, every trauma and pain that I had disappeared. It means I finally have to face them sober, which honestly is a great way, in my opinion. But I digress. Here's another one. The biggest battle usually isn't alcohol once someone is on their alcohol journey. It's not alcohol. Like, that's why when I can go to places, because it's not the alcohol. It's what happens when you become sober. You lose a part of your identity. You don't know if your personality would stay the same. You lose a little piece of yourself, and then in little habits that you had, the way you think, you lose it, and you have to reconstruct that identity. And usually that takes a while. And that's something that I had to do. Even though my personality was the same, my identity died. There's a such thing as identity death. And that's something that I went through. And that's something that I talked about on another podcast video about identity death that usually happens with a death of a close one or something like that, or marriage or divorce. That happens when someone becomes sober. That happens when you leave a church or religion that you identify with. That also happens change of career. So those were the biggest battles. It wasn't necessarily the actual physical alcohol anymore. It's the mental ones, the identity, the habits, the way you think. So the worst chapters of my life, honestly, were the years that I was sober, in my opinion. Why? Because they were the most challenging years of my life. Because not only was I going through a divorce, I also left the church or religion that I was a part of. And I also decided to start my sobriety journey, like all in the same month. And so I was hit with different challenges in my life, like identity death, the way I cope with anger, the way I cope with frustration, the way I even cope with happiness and celebrations and doing something good and accomplishments and decompression, and even dealing with a person in a relationship. It was all new because sobriety. But now that that season is over, now that the worst years of my life, the 4 years while I was sober, when I was in the midst of my divorce, leaving the church, sobriety journey, which I'm still on. Now that that's over, my identity, this new identity that I have, took time, took tears, took patience, took destroying people, things, unfortunately. But in order to build something up sometimes, especially when it comes to remodeling, like myself, I'm a carpenter, so I know all about remodeling. But when it comes to remodeling and rehabbing and reconstructing yourself, it's a painful, confusing, delusional, double-minded, lonely, depressing, anxious, questioning who you are because you lose your identity. It's so much of that. But once all that's over, once you break yourself down to nothing, you start to realize who you really are, and you build yourself up from that. So I hope you all appreciated this video, and like, comment, share. Until next time, I'm out of here.